Welcome to the Site-65 podcast. I'm your host, Robert Tomato Peterson. With me, as always, Keegan. Keegan, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Wonderful, wonderful. And joining us this week at our lunch table is executive researcher Daniel Silk. Daniel, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Very good. Glad to have you here. So, just the three of us for today. But I've had quite an eventful week testing on site. Even though I'm technically retired now. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I'm going to say this stuff now before I get halfway through the episode or even at the end and forget I need to say it. So, if you're listening to us, first off, thank you. There are plenty of ways for you to listen to us. You can listen to us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify. Just search Site-65 podcast and you'll find us. And you could be listening to us on TikTok. That's right, folks. And by folks, I mean Gen Z. We are on TikTok. Kind of.
We really
I
just
may
sold
have
out like that, huh? We're going on TikTok. You know what they take?
Look,
You know what they made TikTok for, right?
look, I get it. But at the same time, the first episode I posted there got almost 1,000 views.
Oof.
So, and I haven't posted anything since. So, if you're listening to this on TikTok, then I'll be uploading
Missed a
the
lot.
last 10-ish episodes slowly over the next couple days in chunks because you can only upload in 10-minute intervals.
I miss
But
Caesar doing drugs.
What?
Caesar's always doing drugs.
Oh! I told him a new efficient way to do drugs.
Oh my god. We're not going to talk about that. We're talking about TikTok and Gen Z. They don't need to know these ways. Let me finish what I was saying first. And there's a way to support the podcast. It's through the site Buy Me a Coffee. So it's buymeacoffee.com/site65 podcast. You go there if you want to, and you can support us by buying us coffee. Because we always need coffee. And there'll be links to all that in the descriptions of each video and on the audio on Spotify. So yeah, just go ahead and support us there. Anyways, I've had a productive week. I was able to come back onto site on an off Tuesday and do a test. And so I wanted to test on 682 because he is one of my favorite SCPs, even though he's incredibly dangerous. But we formed a little bit of a bond over the last maybe 4 months of testing. Even though, you okay?
I remember the last guy who formed a bond with 682. He's dead. Tomato. That man's name was R-Haggatry, and he is dead. Tomato.
Yeah, well, I'm not. So at the same time, I'm gonna keep going. I wanted to see how 682 reacted to spicy foods because I was eating spicy ramen during lunch and I thought, boy, this is hot. And then it clicked. How does 682 handle spice? So I grabbed a D class and I grabbed a bunch of hot peppers from the kitchen, from the chefs, and traveled down to 682. And basically had the D class stand next to 682 and match him pepper for pepper.
Oh.
I had them eat a bell pepper, fresh jalapeno, some cayenne pepper, a fresh habanero, a ghost pepper, and a pepper X. Now, currently, pepper X that's the official name for it, by the way. Some dude in South Carolina came up with it.
Oh.
Pepper X is currently the world's hottest known pepper. It was originally the ghost chili, but then that got changed about 4 years ago. So, I had them go pepper for pepper and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 for pain. The D class, by the time he got to the habanero, was crying and sobbing. He did not like the peppers. But he powered through. 682, on the other hand, loved the peppers. He kept demanding more spice. Eventually, we got to Pepper X, And 682, well, he did something kind of anomalous. Other than the fact that he is an anomalous lizard. He ate the Pepper X, laughed, proceeded to turn bright red, like his whole body turned red, and he proceeded to belch a fireball that incinerated a guard.
I'm not really surprised with a lot of the tests. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I gotta be honest. Like, yeah, it's insane. But like a lot of the things 682 does, it's just like you could shove him in the most safest situation ever, and he'll still find a way to kill somebody in the most horrific way possible.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised, but not really. Like, of course he did that.
I mean, to be honest, it was kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, and then that guy melting to death must have not been cool.
No. Janitorial staff did not have a fun time scraping his ashes up. But at the same time, it was pretty cool to see a giant lizard belch a fireball at someone. The D class was eaten shortly after because 682 said, quote, "I need something to cool my mouth off," and just ate the D class.
I
So,
guess blood is like milk to him.
I guess, take that as you will. Put the D class out of his suffering, at least. And, yeah?
To be fair, like fucking 682, like it's cool how he fucking like can eat anyone like on bite, but it's not
Yeah.
cool when it's, you know.
Yeah. No, it was crazy. I don't really know how else to say it. Daniel, I
Yeah.
feel like it's been a bit since you were on the podcast.
Oh yeah, it's been a bit like maybe 2-3 months now.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
After I resigned from my position as executive researcher. I've been like mostly just doing some shit in the how I got it maintenance team, just like becoming a Taichi. And I'm like
Okay.
still getting how to like fix most of the shit, but that's already just like
Okay.
help enough with the research department and for diet.
Well, understandable. But we're still happy to have you here, joining us for lunch.
Thank you.
Keegan, you were
Mhm.
talking about you mentioned this briefly before we started recording. You did a test with 079 and you gave him a Game Boy Color.
Yeah. I decided it would be a wonderful idea if I gave SCP-079 a Game Boy Color without the internet, of course. I mean, why would I even
They don't, well, actually I shouldn't
say
say that. Game Boys had they did make an adapter that you could plug an Ethernet cable into and use your Game Boy as an internet, as a screen for a computer. So I'm not going to say it's not possible, but it'd be very weird if that's how he got access to the internet. But anyways,
Yeah. Yeah, so the three games I gave him were Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, Pokemon Red, and Metal Gear Solid. Uh, for the first game of Link's Awakening, he proceeded to change Link's name to Anderson and gave himself infinite rupees and infinite health and went through the game as normal. He proceeded to rate the games, which I did not ask him to do this, but that's 079. I'll let him do whatever he wants. So he rated it like a 6 out of 10. Personally, I disagree, but I said to him, you'd make a lot of people upset with that rating, but then there was Pokemon Red. Now this is where it kind of got interesting. Again, he changed the main character's name to Anderson, which I don't know what the fuck that's talking about. I don't know who is Anderson. I asked Boots at the time, the executive who was running that. He told me not to worry about it. So I kind of worried about it, but he changed the Pokemon types, so he added 939 into the game, so he could change the game's code while also mimicking their art styles, which was a really interesting thing to see. And Boots' reaction, Michael Boots, he's an executive. Uh, his reaction was so it's like what are those things called where you can like download a like ROM hacks. He said something about
yeah.
it being like an overrated ROM hack, basically. Which yeah. So he added 939 into the game as a fire type. 860 is a leaf type and an unknown anomaly as I forgot what type it was. It's like an earth. I don't know. I don't play
Ground
Pokemon.
type.
Ground type. I again asked higher ups what that anomaly was. I then told not to worry about it. So that's two. That's two red flags. Um, he played through the game as normal. I think what's that? Whatever. I forgot what it's called. But he got some weird Pokemon you can't even get. It was like missing
Well,
no. It was like a missing no glitch. It was like some kind of
yeah,
glitch.
there's a glitch in the game that allows you to get an error Pokemon called Missing now.
Yeah. He rated the game like in 9 or 8 out of 10. Something I forgot to mention about Mostly says, I discovered afterwards when looking at the cartridges, he attempted to put himself into them.
Ah,
So there's leftover code of SCP-079, which I will further examine because that's very, very enticing to me. And I can now study parts of his code to, understand his AI. But so he gave it like an 9 out of 10. He barely put himself in Pokemon, I guess, due to out of respect of the game. Which fair, very good game. I've played it personally.
yeah.
But Metal Gear Solid was the next one, and this
Which
one
is
was.
funny because Metal Gear Solid can't be played on a Game Boy.
Oh yes, it can. There's a Game Boy version.
What?
Yep, there is a Game Boy version of Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, well, damn. I did
Yes,
not know this.
look it up. Metal Gear Solid, Ghost, Babel, or hell, even the original game. It can be played on a Game Boy. So
All right.
I wanted to give him this game because for a fact is sneaking. He tries to escape a lot. It's very obvious. I already knew he'd figure that out as soon as he'd get it. He didn't, which was surprising to me. But again, he changed the main character's like name to Anderson. I didn't really after being told once to not worry about it, I just decided not to. Um when going through some of the levels, he did something to where there was a giant boss that it was like a giant figure that resembled 682. When it roared, the whole cartridge would shake. Like the whole no, not even like a Game Boy would shake.
Huh.
Uh Michael didn't really like that, so he was like, let's get this over with now, because I think he was just kind of worried.
Hmm.
I said, let's just keep going. It's fine. But he, so after it all finished, everything was done. He voted the game a 5 out of 10, and that was pretty much it. Like, he didn't really say a lot about the games. He respected Pokemon a lot. He thought that was a very intriguing, good game. And his only complaint was that with the other games, you can't really do a lot after you finish those games. With Pokemon, you can at least do some stuff when you're done with the game.
Yeah.
So that was
Huh.
cool critique from 079. He actually likes video games. Wish we could give him more. I want to promise him more gigabytes, but ethics committee really got on my ass last time for actually like telling him I probably could do that. They really didn't like that I said that to him. Which you guys, I don't break a promise. Okay,
I mean, I
I at least
get
attempt
that,
it.
but at the same time, like, we can't really be giving him more RAM and we can't really be giving him more, like, disk space
Yeah,
because there's potential for that to, like, be used.
yeah,
Not necessarily the RAM, but the disk space. I don't know what he could store in there and what he has access to already, so.
yeah.
Hmm.
Very interesting test.
But still, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And actually, that's a good segue into our next segment, which is from Site-65. Um, we have a couple news stories from this week's pamphlet that came out, and one of them actually has to do with video games. So, for those of you who are new to the podcast, this is a segment we started doing last episode, and we're going to do each week, where basically Site-65 puts out a news pamphlet, and it's basically just news from around the site and stories that are being reported on and stories from Pinewood, the town on surface. So I cherry picked a couple of stories from there and wanted to just talk about them. So the first one, coincidentally talking about video games, Site-65 is considering adding an esports team to play Counter-Strike 2 and Overwatch.
Ah, it's never TF2, huh?
I mean, it could be. You can make a suggestion for that.
I will. I will demand a suggestion. Not even a suggestion. That is a demand. That is not even an ask. TF2
I
needs more
have
rep.
I have not gotten around to playing CS2 yet, and to be fair, I did not play Overwatch when it released. I own a copy of it, but I've never booted it up. It's just one of those games that like never really interested me.
Yeah, I
So
attempted to use an SCP to like study the code of Overwatch because I was very interested, and then I got banned.
yeah, fair enough.
Ethics was not very happy.
How did you
I could have
study?
info breached.
I mean, yeah, because you were connecting it to a code base that probably goes to who makes Overwatch? Is it Blizzard?
Blizzard.
Yeah, so they could
We
have
got some
gotten
covert ops
information.
over there. Don't worry, it was okay.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
Caesar
that.
dared me to do it. I gotta be honest, and I thought it was very funny, so I just did it, and I don't have any regrets
All
except
right.
for the 9-inch bullet that was almost put in my head. Yeah, A1
I
was
don't think
unhappy.
that would be. I don't think that would be put in your head. That would more explode your head.
Yeah.
Um, let's see what else we got here. So good news. The breach shelter finally has a television.
Really?
Yeah, they put it in just the other day.
Took him long enough, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've been here for years and there's just been nothing to do except chess and checkers.
You guys can hire more security, but you can't buy a damn TV.
Yeah, like, how much is, like, TVs are not that expensive these days. You could buy, like, a cheap TCL smart TV for, like, $100. I
Straight
don't know.
down.
Yeah, it doesn't really need to be high def. You could give me one of those old CRT televisions. As long as it can pick up some stations, I'm fine. Just
Yeah.
something to do while we're sitting there. But, you know, that's site administration for you. They got to spend the money where they need to spend the money, and they got to spend the money on the SCPs, which is why our
Yeah.
pay is kind of shit. Anyways, last news story. Medical went on strike, asking for more lab equipment. Last reported casualties include 4 doctors and 1 trainee.
Oh, they
No
wanted
word
more
yet.
equipment.
Yeah, they wanted more lab equipment. No word yet if they're gonna get it.
Oh, I'm over here busting my ass trying to make a proton PAC system in my own, in like the fucking chemical lab with barely anything. They're over here bitching about medical supplies. Shut up. Like,
You seem to
goddamn.
have very strong opinions about this, Keegan.
I do. I was like, we need more medical. Man, you guys got a whole bunch of drugs over there. I'm pretty sure y'all are taking half of them. That's where Caesar gets his drugs. Take their shit
Uh,
away. Caesar coming to my lab. Caesar came to my lab yesterday being all high and shit. He's doing drugs again. I gotta be honest, it's because I told him that if you go to 294, get Coca-Cola and then put it in 914, you can get cocaine. I said that as a
I,
bit, but I should never say that around Caesar.
did he actually do it?
Yes. He came in my
Did
lab
it
all coked
actually
up.
work?
Yes. He came in my
Oh,
lab very coked up, and I was trying to test out the proton PAC like stream emitter. He used it and he burned through 2 labs. Like it,
oh my
I told the ethics committee to give
god.
me a signature. I said it's gonna be dangerous. They're like, no, it's gonna be okay, Keegan. I don't think. Look, in Lunaro's words, I don't think it's gonna be that dangerous. Well, Lunaro, it nearly killed somebody. It burned somebody's hand. I didn't get in trouble. It was Caesar, so I don't know if they're gonna take that away now. They might.
I hope they don't. You've been doing a lot of work on that.
Really hard. Okay, trying
Yeah.
to contain ectoplasmic beings with a proton stream. What my brain? I've been working in my lab too much. Emitter is basically like an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on your back is very hard to pass through like any sort of ethics. They don't
Uh,
even care about it actually. They think it's useless, which one day it won't, I swear to God.
well, with Spooktober coming up, maybe it'll be some use then.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing anything for Halloween?
Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe set up some decorations. I don't know. Maybe I can get a little outfit for 682.
Nah,
Feel
what I was gonna do is I was gonna put a white sheet over 999 and take him trick or treating.
that is adorable.
Yeah, I know.
Don't worry. Like, are you doing it in the office or are you doing it in Pinewood? Because I'll get the
No,
amnestics.
Pinewood.
I'll
We'll
get the
just pretend.
amnestics then.
I'll just pretend he's like a dog or something. Have you seen that photo shoot going viral of the guy who made his dog into a ghost? And then like he just like he took a white sheet and he cut some holes in it for like his eyes and his snoot and draped it over the dog and it went viral. I want to do something similar to that with 999.
Yeah.
Right. Lads, I'm gonna have to do a emergency exit now. So yeah, you guys see.
All right.
Alright.
Well, he's off to do his work, and we're getting to the end of this episode, anyways. So,
Yeah.
Keegan, is there anything you want to say to the masses listening on YouTube, Spotify, and potentially TikTok?
Huh. I'm not sure. I haven't seen Carl in a while. Maybe he got murdered by my Proton PAC unit by Caesar. I have to ask the tech experts, but they're kind of mean to me.
I'm sorry they're mean to you.
I don't like tech experts, man. Except maybe Carl's weird and annoying, but at least he's not mean.
Yeah, I'd rather have weird and annoying than mean.
Uh, There's like a big buff tech expert who kept trying to bully me yesterday. I was just really confused, though. I was too confused to be at least offended. I'm pretty sure he was also an anomaly. I think we have two anomalous tech experts.
I wouldn't be surprised.
One may or may not be interdimensional.
Oh God. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, so I'll just end off by saying thank you very much for listening. Thank you for supporting us on YouTube, Spotify, and if you're listening on TikTok, there'll be links for you to support the show. That's buymeacoffee.com/Site-65 podcast. If you want to support, go ahead and support us if you have the extra cash too. It's only $1. We're not asking for, $1 million yet. We will one day, but for now, just $1. So thank you very much for listening. Yeah, have a wonderful day.